What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
We get nerdy nightly.
And we thought we'd share it with you.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah.
That is right. Welcome back to another spoiler chat, this time for Season 1, Episode 5 of WandaVision. I don't actually know what the title of this one is. I didn't look it up.
Oh, yeah, we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
They weren't like... They're kind of released in an interesting way.
No, they've stopped doing that.
Oh, okay, yeah. It was the first episode and the second episode that didn't have titles.
Yeah, and now they do.
They were released and now they do. Right. Yeah, we watched WandaVision and it was something.
Ooh, it's called On a Very Special Episode.
It was a very special episode.
It was a very special episode. Every episode of this show feels very special.
Yes, yes. Now, before we get into it, this is a spoiler chat.
Yes.
This is your warning. Get out now while you still can. Go watch it and then come and watch the video.
And somehow this episode felt more spoiler heavy than the last one.
It did.
Especially the final moment.
Yes.
I think we live right above our landlord. And I think that if he was not already awake, he was after I screamed.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that that's fair.
So, in our last week's spoiler chat, we talked about the fact that I was surprised that we got out of Westview as quickly as we did.
Yeah.
And that I was expecting that this week was going to go back to the traditional episodes, the first three. I shouldn't say traditional. There's nothing. This is the first season.
Yeah.
And so I think I was surprised personally at how quickly we moved into a hybrid setting for the show where we are bouncing in and out of the sitcom. And I think that really worked for me in this episode because the sitcom stopped being funny or fun in this episode.
Yes. Yeah, it was funny because it still had the audience reaction and laughter and things like that to what were supposed to be the jokes. But they weren't funny moments. Like no,
the
and
audience.
that's why it was so chilling.
The laugh track was unsettling.
Yeah.
In this episode, in a way that was sublime.
Yeah, I think the moment that stands out for me is when Vision is at work.
Yeah.
And his coworker, this email comes through from Sword. And everyone like reads it through out loud all together simultaneously. It's very very weird, and then they all laugh. And you're like, oh gosh. And then Vision lifts the like memory block or whatever it is on his coworker, who's like, I'm in pain, help, she's doing this to me, blah blah blah. And then Vision gets scared and like zaps him back, and then he makes some like quip and the audience laughs, and you're like, oh my god, I'm so uncomfortable
at her.
Like, yeah, like
Norm. I love Norm.
No, yeah,
he's great.
It was very well done.
I just want to like this is where things are getting really complicated for me. And they're not in a bad way, in a like I want to know what's happening way.
Yeah.
But I'm really lost right now in one thing in the show, and it is how Vision functions.
Yes.
And it's the thing that is because this show last episode revealed that Wanda is the big bad of the show, or 2 episodes ago. And then at the beginning of this episode, the director Haywood, I think is his name, he's like, no, Wanda is the victimizer in the situation.
Yeah.
And I'm really starting to think that that's not the case.
Yeah. I think that it would be a much less interesting show if that was all it was and they gave it away within the first 4 episodes. But
also, ever since the first episode of the spoiler chat, I've been talking about how is WandaVision controlling scenes that she's not in. And I think that the answer to that is going to be found in us meeting another character. I believe that character is going to be... This is a spoiler chat. I can say...
It's spoiler chat, yeah.
Mephisto. Mephisto is traditionally the character who plays this role in Marvel Comics. Probably most famously for the scene where he undoes... Peter Parker and Mary Jane's marriage in the comics in order to bring Aunt May back, which is it's a choice they make. They're like, we're willing to sacrifice our marriage in order to save her life.
Wow.
It is a very yeah. And then Peter Parker and Mary Jane aren't married for years. It's a whole thing. Sorry, I know you came for the WandaVision spoilers. Spoilers for the comics. It's great. It's a really, really great run. But Mephisto does have kind of those reality-altering powers in the comics. And the more we're getting into the show, the more I'm thinking that Wanda is capable of controlling things in here.
Yeah.
But this episode really set up that she is not actually in control, especially because there is the line where her and Vision are fighting, and she has her line where she says, "I don't know how this started."
Yeah.
And, you know, it in the episode, it sort of plays as if the audience is supposed to buy into that and, or sorry, not believe that.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, she's manipulating Vision. But I think there's more truth in that than fiction. I think that she has been controlling it lately, at least parts of it.
I think she can. I don't know how exactly to describe it, but she has found herself in this bubble that I don't think she created or she put there, but she is able to manipulate that bubble to a certain extent to hold the facade of it, like you know, if she is given enough control, it seems like she is in control. I don't know if that will be the case. I don't think she will be able to be in control. And I also, her kids kind of pose an interesting question with that as well, because they're children of Wanda and Vision. Obviously, like they can like age themselves, which like neat trick. But I think that they're going to be, I think that like what they can do, we don't really know yet. And I think that they're going to become a problem in the next like episode or two. That's going to have to be... You
think they're going to be like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, because...
See, I think they're going to be like on the team. Like, I think they're going to end up teaming up with their parents to fight Mephisto in the end.
I could see that happening, and then obviously they like maybe they go away because it was all like a facade. But also, I could see... Oh,
how heartbreaking will that be?
Well, exactly.
Oh,
that would be
I don't want that.
That would be, you know, that would be great storytelling, and I could see them going that way. But I could also see them going the way that if this is someone like Mephisto who's creating this, that he has an influence on them and their actions and what they do, and that he can use that against Wanda.
The thing about Mephisto is that traditionally... characters like make deals with him, like literally they're making a deal with the devil.
Yeah,
that's why the Peter Parker Mary Jane thing is like they are in a deal with him. They choose that, and so I wonder if to the extent that Wanda is aware of what is going on, she's aware that she is at fault for this because she made a deal. Like, I think that Wanda may not remember making the deal, but I think that she might have gone to Mephisto to bring Vision back.
Yeah.
And this is the consequence of that.
Yeah.
And whether or not Wanda is a good person at the end of the series is really going to depend on that information as it comes out. Because here's the thing. If Wanda is just grief-stricken and gone bad, if she's broken bad and whatever, the remaining 4 episodes of this show to me become less interesting over time.
Absolutely.
Because it is essentially just okay, how do we take down Wanda? And I don't... The problem with that is that would try and make Vision the protagonist of the rest of the series in a way, but Vision is dead.
Yeah. He can't really...
So Vision can't really act against Wanda if she's in control of everything.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that there has to be something else powering this, because I don't think Wanda has enough power to give Vision real life. There has to be a puppeteer behind some of this, and I just I'm really curious to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah. One moment in the episode that I want to talk about is the scans that they did on what's her name? I'm blanking. Sorry. Monica Rambeau.
Yeah.
They did a brain scan, was it?
I think they did blood work, they did an X-ray, they did everything.
Yeah, they were trying to medically examine her, and none of the tests were working. Which I don't know, makes me wonder if she's dead.
No, because if you X-ray a dead body, their bones are still there.
No, but I mean, like, she is a shell right now.
No, I think that it is, because it was, like, white. It was, like, whited out. It wasn't, like, invisible. It wasn't like there was nothing there. It was, like, it was... I think what is happening is there's radiation that is bouncing off of her. And like an X-ray uses radiation to see through your skin, right?
Right, yeah.
So I think that the radiation that is exuding from her because she was in the anomaly is actually stopping the test from being able to see anything.
Interesting. Okay.
And same with the blood work. Like, I think that what it is cosmic radiation is essentially overriding whatever tests they're doing.
Right.
And so they're just not able to see.
Right. Which really begs the question, what are the consequences for the people who have been in this reality? You know,
well, and the show brings that up. Like, they're like when Norm comes back, or when they talk about what Monica experienced, they're in pain. They're hopeless. It's so dark. Like, this episode was, it's episode 5 of a 9. It is the exact middle of the show, which is important. You know, like, this is the pivot point towards the
a resolution almost?
Yeah, to the conclusion. Like, this is where your story has to hit its like stride. And I feel like they did that by taking this show that was so cheery and so sappy sitcom-y, and they're like, this is the baseball bat to the stomach moment. You know what I mean? You turn the corner into the alley and you get sucker punched.
Yeah.
That's what this episode felt like to me. And especially the scene where Wanda comes out and faces Haywood and Monica and the team. She leaves the bubble, and it's a really, really cool moment. Is in her Scarlet Witch outfit. I love the scene with Wu where he's like, she doesn't have any like nicknames or anything. He's like, no, she just, no. And everyone's like, it's Scarlet Witch. Yeah. Scarlet Witch. All the nerds sitting on the couch are like, can someone please call her Scarlet Witch? When was Age of Ultron? Like 2014? I've been waiting 7 years. I know. Can someone please call this woman Scarlet Witch? Here's the other thing. There were a few moments in the episode where characters knew things that were like kind of like almost like meta-gamey. Like if well, and the one is especially meta because Kevin Feige recently in an interview was talking about how Wanda could have wiped out Thanos. Yeah. And then in the episode, it was dialogue in this episode. Yeah, and I was like, that feels kind of out of place. If it wasn't for that interview with Kevin Feige having almost the exact same way of describing Wanda beating Thanos, this would have been a weird... And we kind of have to accept that S.W.O.R.D. has this information. They're working with the Avengers, probably. But how would anybody know that? Like, here's the thing. Outside of the universe, as a creative person who's writing it or creating it or whatever, you can say that is reality. But how? How would you know something like that if you existed in that universe? Because you probably have footage of the fight from Endgame. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure all of Tony Stark's tech records everything. Yeah. So S.W.O.R.D. probably has that entire fight. They've probably pieced together that footage. It is probably common knowledge within that organization. I guess. It just, you know what I mean? Like, those are probably like moments that are. I'm assuming that footage has been seen by a lot of people on Earth. There are probably people, because here's the thing. I have a feeling that within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the governments would have to explain what happened. Yeah. And the answer is the Avengers beat Thanos. He was this alien who wanted to wipe out half the planet, and I don't think the governments would lie to people. Could you imagine having to do that police paperwork? Like... Oh God, yeah. Well, and the paperwork in this universe must be a mess. But it was weird. It was a little weird that they were like, yeah. Yeah, that moment felt a little off to me. The other one was when Jimmy Woo was like, she was working against the Avengers until she gained their trust. And I was like, yeah, I was what? Like, were you there? It was just because that is what happened, and I'm assuming they know that that's what happened. It was just like the wording of it was very comic booky, which makes sense. It's a comic book show. Yeah, it was just those two moments definitely like kind of stood out to me, and I was like, yeah, Jimmy Woo, the Kat Dennings and Randall Park's characters both have like viewer knowledge at times. Yes. In a way that is entertaining because they're both very funny, but I'm also kind of just like, why do you know that about them? Yeah. Like. Yeah, I definitely get that. I feel like the Avengers were way more secret than this this show is leading me to believe. I'm starting to think that like the Avengers mansion in the earlier movies was like the Big Brother house, and people were like watching it like it was television. The Big Brother house. I love that idea. Could you imagine like a superhero Big Brother show? Yeah, I can. It would be awesome. Yeah, they've actually done that. That's actually so in the original Civil War. It's not exactly Big Brother, but in the original Civil War comic book that the movie, that's the word I was looking for, is based on. The outset of it isn't a bomb in Africa. It's actually a school gets blown up because there is a team of young heroes who is trying to do superheroics for like social media clout, essentially.
Interesting.
And a school gets blown up and they lose like almost the entire team. And that is the inciting incident for why Cap and Iron Man start fighting over regulation of superheroes.
Right.
And it is actually, they're like filming them doing... they're filming this team doing their superheroics.
Right.
And it becomes an international incident because a school gets blown up. And so that has kind of been used as a premise before.
Interesting.
In the comics. Yeah.
I enjoy that.
Yeah. And if you Jason Inman, if you guys know who Jason Inman is, he's a great creator, really, really fabulous writer. He is writing a comic book right now. I don't remember what it's called, but he has a Kickstarter going. If you want to go support his Kickstarter, he could really use it. And he's a great writer, and he's the host of the GHL podcast. But that new comic book is going to be what if Superman, essentially, I think his character's called Captain Terrific, or I can't remember. But what if a Superman-like character had a best friend who was live streaming his adventures? And so if you search
like
up
Shazam,
if you search Jawin, Jawiin, across the internet, you'll be able to find his Kickstarter. Go support that comic. I'm supporting it, and I'm really excited to get a copy of it.
That's dope.
Because I really like Jupiter Jet, both Jupiter Jet comics, and Science, the other one that him and his wife Ashley Victoria Robinson wrote. They're really great. So just a little plug. They're not sponsoring this. I think they're both wonderful creators, and I wanted to throw a shout out at that Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Should we get to the final moment?
Final moment of this episode.
The one that made me almost stand up, but I couldn't because your leg was on my leg.
That's true.
Evan Peters shows up as Pietro.
Yeah.
Maximoff. So he's not a multiverse... Well, he might be. So here's the thing. He shows up as the MCU's Quicksilver, and Kat Dennings' character makes a joke about, oh my god, Wanda recast Pietro? Because obviously they don't call them Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, but
Right.
This moment is so cool for a number of reasons. Number one, getting the first time we're getting a Fox X-Men character in the MCU is very cool.
Yeah.
Two, Evan Peters is a great actor, and it looks like he's going to play a significant role. Like, it's not like a one-scene cameo.
No, he shows up and that you're kind of left at a cliffhanger. The other thing that makes it really interesting is that Wanda says that she didn't... Like, the doorbell rings in the middle of an argument, which Vision is like, obviously, you're doing this. She's like, this isn't me.
That one isn't her. Which is interesting, because in the way that she says it... she is taking credit for doing some of it.
Yes.
But that isn't her.
Yeah.
Which means that someone else threw in a Pietro, and you know who has the power to bend universes and bring someone from another reality?
Doctor Strange.
Mephisto. What if Doctor Strange... Wait, no. What if Doctor Strange is the villain of this? What if Wait. Could he be? No. What if Baron Mordo is the villain of this? Wait. What if Baron Mordo, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, in Doctor Strange, has trapped Wanda here because, oh my god, and that is how this leads into Doctor Strange 2, where Baron Mordo is the reality warping villain. That would be so cool. Because they could be like, it's Mephisto, boom, Baron Mordo. You don't see it coming. Chiwetel Ejiofor shows up. You get one of the greatest living actors in your show.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
That would, oh my god.
This is, that's not a spoiler. That is a pure, like, speculation.
Oh, of course. I literally just came up with that in this moment. I mean, I'm almost sure that Mephisto's still going to show up in this. But Baron Mordo working with Mephisto to lead this into Doctor Strange 2 would be really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be dope.
Anyway, Evan Peters shows up, and nothing happens.
No.
It's the cliffhanger.
You are left at a cliffhanger. Yeah. So we will obviously do our spoiler chat again next week and talk about how that plays out. Do you think that he is... Okay, so here's a question. Do you think that he is he's just a random dude in the MCU, and the cameo is an homage to the Fox X-Men universe, or do you think that he is a mind wiped, but X-Men universe? Do you think he is the character from the X-Men universe? I think he is the character.
Me too. I think that it's too convenient if he's not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everything in this show so far has been so intentional.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Yeah.
Now I want Baron Mordo in this.
I just want episode 6.
Here's the thing. Elizabeth Olsen said that there is a there is a final episode of Mandalorian level cameo in this. I'm not going to spoil the final episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But she said that there is a cameo in this show that is akin to that cameo.
Uh-huh.
So could it be an X-Men character? Not Evan Peters. But could, like, Patrick Stewart show up? You know what I mean? Or, like, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine?
Oh my god.
What would be bigger than that? Ian McKellen as Magneto? Like, could all the X-Men show up and they're just in the universe? I was going to
say, what if everyone just, like, plopped in and that was their introduction?
I would love if she was like, yeah, it's the biggest cameo ever. And then it's like James Marsden and Cyclops. And people are like, yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, fine.
I'm kidding. I love his Cyclops.
Poor guy.
But
he's such an attractive man.
I know. And you know what? Good for him. Sonic the Hedgehog is going to be his comeback. Because it's getting a sequel. It did really well.
Mm-hmm.
I love James Marsden and Cyclops. I just feel like people wouldn't be as excited about it as other things.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not... If they announced tomorrow James Marsden's Cyclops movie, I would be sitting on this couch screaming how excited I am about that. I don't want anyone to think I'm against it. But like the big cameos from that universe would be Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Hugh Jackman. Those would be like the 3 big ones, I think.
Yeah. Those
that would have
the 3 biggest ones.
That could be compared to any cameo from that universe is cool. I just mean those would be the 3 that would be compared to
the Mandalorian. Yeah, fair enough.
Or Kelsey Grammer as the Beast.
Perfect. I love it.
And wait. What if they get to the 90s? Because this is a sitcom show, right?
Yeah.
They get to the 90s and Kelsey Grammer is on the show as his character from Frasier, but he's mind wiped, so he thinks that he's Frasier, but it is actually the Beast.
Oh my god.
You have one of the greatest sitcom stars of all time as a Marvel X-Men character.
Mm-hmm.
WandaVision, please do this. Please bring in Kelsey Grammer as Frasier. No, as the Beast who has amnesia to think that he's Frasier. It would be the greatest television moment of all time.
That would be so confusing, but honestly, I'm here for it. I can stand that.
Oh my god, I love this show so much.
It's so good. Well, it's been 22 minutes.
Great.
There was a lot in this episode to talk about. I think we
missed a bunch of it too. We didn't really talk about the kids growing up. We never even mentioned the dog.
Oh yeah.
The dog isn't really a spoiler though. The dog's just cute.
Yeah, the dog is very cute.
The dog dying was very sad.
Yeah, that was rough.
Although it's interesting. You know what? Actually, I do want to bring this up. The last thing I want to talk about. In her speech about the dog dying, Wanda seems very genuine about the fact that there are rules to the universe and that you can't just bring people back from the dead. Yes,
I know. I found that very interesting.
And so, granted, Vision was never alive. Like, bringing a robot back versus bringing a dog back.
I guess.
Because here's my whole thing with Vision. Like, assuming that this is a world where cyborgs exist, which it is, sort of, right? Ultron existed.
Yeah.
And Ultron did not have the Mind Stone in him. Mm-hmm. So assuming that there's a world where, like, Ultron existed, is there anything that really stops Vision from having a mind without the Mind Stone?
I don't know.
There's no, like, in-universe thing. There's no, like, there's never been an android before. So, like, I feel like there is a way to bring back Vision in a way that you can't bring back Tony Stark.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, those are different kinds of death.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that Wanda, I just think that there's a bigger twist coming.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying. I don't think Wanda's going to be the bad guy of this show.
No.
I think that Wanda is going to be shown to be desperately trying to keep a bad situation from getting worse, and that's what Westview is.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see it. I could absolutely see it going that direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just because I don't know. I don't think you make Scarlet Witch a villain. I also think that, like, this show is smarter than to make a woman a villain because her boyfriend died. I feel like that's just, like, a trope that they're using to get a reaction out of the middle of the show.
Yeah.
But that's not the story they want to tell.
Yeah, that's kind of boring.
And it's just played. Like we've had that kind of like sexist interpretation of women for so long, where they're so emotional that they can't handle it. And I definitely think the show is playing with that, but I don't think that's where we're gonna end up.
No, I think that I agree. I think they're smarter than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least they have been so far. This show's so good.
It's so good.
This might be my favorite thing in the MCU.
Right now? Yeah.
Like, I think I might like this show more than I've liked any MCU movie. And I don't know if it's because it's week to week and there's things I wait for. But it's so good.
I would say that's something that I feel like we need to decide once the whole thing is out.
Oh, 100%.
Right now we're in the middle of it. You know what I mean?
And I'm so excited. And
yeah. Because here's the thing. If you were in the middle of Endgame, like halfway through Endgame, you'd be like, oh my gosh, you know, like this is so great. So,
on your left, when that moment happened, I was like, this is the greatest moment humanity has created.
Yeah.
And I think that moment is better than this show. I just think that this show as a whole is
very strong.
Endgame is so good because it's a payoff to something that has been earned.
Yes, for sure.
And it just goes bigger than anything has ever. Like, no, there's never been an on-stage fight sequence to the scale of that. But this show is more emotionally interesting than Endgame is.
For sure.
And the stakes are more internal, which I always find more like personally interesting.
For sure.
Endgame is like, I'll never stand up and cheer and cry and scream the way I did the first time I watched Endgame.
Yeah.
For anything else, I can't imagine. But you know, Endgame is very good guy punch bad guy, fun.
Yeah.
And it's the best version of that.
Yeah.
This is just a different thing, and it's stellar. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah, they've done a really good job. I cannot wait for the next episode.
Y'all, if you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. Come back next week, or go watch the last spoiler chats. There's episodes 1 through 4.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna keep doing this throughout this entire thing, and then we'll keep doing this when Falcon and Winter Soldier premieres, because we like doing these spoiler chats. So we hope you like them. You can catch me streaming live over on Twitch at twitch.tv/nerdynightly. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. I'm doing some Pokemon Nuzlocke Tuesday, Thursday, and some Red Dead Redemption 2 Wednesday, Sunday. So come check that out.
Yep. I stream over at twitch.tv/ClarkDracaris.
Yep.
Right now we're doing some Skyrim, some Pokemon. I'm going to have a baking stream next week. It's going to be great.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So come check it out. You can also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the things that you see above over there.
As always, y'all, do something nerdy tonight.
Bye, guys.